You have two options. Take the red pill and experience the harshness of life. Take the blue pill and remain blissfully ignorant of what is going on around you. Which would you choose? We've all seen The Matrix. Okay, maybe not all of us, since I only saw it for the first time a couple months ago, but I think I can say that many of us have seen it. For those that have not, The Matrix is a film that explores the consequences that an artificial intelligence world has on reality. Of course, our world consists of free will, and we're all in charge of what we believe in. Right? In recent years, conspiracy groups such as QAnon have taken hold on several social media platforms and have converted far too many people into their beliefs. This has caused an even harsher divide within this country and has led to many unwanted situations throughout society. These platforms have gained more and more support as they take hold on their targets by manipulating social media algorithms in order to make their presence more aware to people. By allowing them to control a large part of the world's online society, they can potentially cause more harm than has already been done. As future leaders of this country, it is imperative that a balanced media diet is consumed and requires consistent effort in maintaining the desired integrity and values while also avoiding the manipulative intent of conspiracy theorists and extreme activists. I can say with great certainty that everyone in this room, or rather, everyone watching this video, uses some type of social media. That fact makes it even more important that we all understand the ways in which people are learning how to take advantage of people's screens and how to avoid it. Have you ever wondered how your apps are able to generate the specific content that you want each time you open them? Those suggestions are all thanks to the system's algorithms. Online algorithms can be manipulated easily by conspiracy groups in order to target specific audiences. Each online platform, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, has its own algorithm that generates individualized content to its users based on their search history, likes, or views. Content creators on these platforms have learned to utilize this system in order to gain more views and subscribers. Besides the desire to gain more followers, the algorithm can also be used to create awareness for social media movements. These algorithms can be useful in a way as it allows each person's content to be individualized based on how they use their apps. The speed at which users can find what interests them has grown a lot faster and leaves many of them glued to their screens all day, which benefits the platforms themselves. On the other hand, the algorithms can also be used politically in order to gain more support by targeting certain audiences and drawing them in with propaganda and false information. In an opinion article published by the New York Times, Farhad Manjoo discusses his fear over the effects conspiracy groups have had on the 2016 presidential election and may have on this year's election as well. During the 2016 election year, propagandists got clever in their ways of approaching their targeted audiences, which mainly were heavy right-wing groups. Before long, these groups have grown large enough to be considered worrisome for the public. Because technology and our understanding of technology is constantly evolving, it is no shocker that conspiracy theories began to appear in the 2020 presidential election as well. Extreme right-wing groups began to speculate about Pizzagate, Obamagate, and just about any other gate that you could think of. The purpose of these stories, as well as their timing, is to scare those targeted audiences into believing even more of the false information that has been thrown out in the last 4 years. This only emphasizes the need to have a diverse influx of information so as not to get caught inside the manipulators' traps. These manipulative groups can be as smart as they want, but the only way they can grow is with continuous and increasing support from their followers. Conspiracy groups and their theories grow stronger as their tactics and fake news continue to spread. According to Manjoo, groups such as QAnon are more than just groups of online theorists. They consist of elements that go deeper into their followers' lives, such as their lifestyle, religious and political beliefs, and their collectivist belief that ties them all together. The more a person gets involved, the more attached they become, and the stronger their support gets. This mindset can fuel the most outrageous fake news. For example, groups such as these have attempted to use the COVID-19 pandemic as a way to bring their conspiracies to life. Knowing that hundreds of thousands of people have died and continue to die of COVID-19, and seeing these people continue to spread misinformation to the public only exemplifies their threat. The belief that these members have brought to society, more often than not, causes harm and confusion between people. Joan Donovan, who was interviewed by Manjoo in the same article, explains her fear of political violence that these organizations can bring. Over the past few months, it has become apparent that there are people in this country who are not afraid of choosing violence without fear of any of the consequences. As dividing as the 2016 presidential election was, this election is even more so, considering the strength that these groups have built up over the last 4 years. With so many of their followers putting trust into a political party that they have contorted, it would not be outrageous to expect some sort of violent reaction in November. As important as it is to know fake news when you see it, it is also very important that your media intake consists of numerous sources, including those that you do not align with politically. Being in control of content you view, as well as having a good balance of understanding between views, it is vital to preventing the spread of false information and to the education and awareness of you and those around you. The content that is given to you does not have to be the only content that you consume. According to an interview by the University of Texas at Austin's online newsletter, Dr. Carrie Barron states that, quote, "We are what we consume," end quote. If we only consume one type of media, we are only ever going to know about whatever it is talked about in that category. On the other hand, if we consume multiple types of media, then we'll have a better, more universal idea of how the world works and what is going on in it. The conspiracy groups are aware of the media diets of the people they target, and once they get in their heads, it'll be very hard to get them out. Their words become very appealing, and soon their targets begin to target others and pushing those down that don't align with them. Consuming a healthy amount of one side and the other will even allow for better decision-making in the future. Listening to different and differing opinions on topics causes people to become much more open-minded and willing to compromise. As a consequence for being so driven by divide, society has lost the ability to compromise with each other. Right now, many are driven by an all-or-nothing mentality, which can be extremely harmful. Being open-minded and well-acquainted in the ways of media can lead to the opening of more paths toward success. The better one can understand another, the more likely connections will be made and can be transferred into their careers. If that is not the goal, then where is the harm in wanting to learn more about the world that you live in? The speed at which our world is advancing can be quite intimidating to many, but that should not stop us from continuing to be in control of our lives. Conspiracy theories can continue to arise, and QAnon may keep trying to gain supporters. Even so, they are only one group out of 1 billion people in the world. If the next generation, our generation, chooses to become better and more knowledgeable consumers of the internet, we can begin to push these harmful groups aside and make society more tolerable of the new world. It all comes back down to the red and blue pill. Which one are you going to choose?